Welcome to Movie the Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. Happy Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Pride Month to all the gay black dads out there. We're really batting for the cycle.
It's like they just tried to cram them all in 1 month.
And really just make it today.
Yeah.
We watch. It's the final. Is it the final? It's not the final week of the Summer of Speed, is it?
Penultimate.
Sean hasn't picked yet.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's one more week.
Ultimate week of Summer of Speed, and this week we watched Death Race 2000, starring
Roger Corman.
Death Race 2000.
And starring the guy from Cobra Kai, and starring the guy from Kung Fu, and starring
the
girl
Rocky.
from Eating Raoul.
That's it.
Yeah, that's right.
But
I totally forgot about that.
But here we are in 79 of the greatest minutes of cinematic history.
Yeah, I
maybe one of the best movies we've had on the show.
Yeah, okay,
Live
yeah.
from
So this is how this episode's going to go. I know we all just said this before we started recording, but Alex not here, unfortunately, and I'm dying to know what he thought of the movie, but I don't think he watched it.
No,
because he does like his dystopias, and this is very dystopian.
Loves them.
But then again, he likes the apocalyptic.
He likes sad dystopias.
Right. So this is more like
ironic
satirical
dystopia.
We'll get into it, but Gogs made a good observation, at least something that I definitely picked up on. But this is a very, and I know that Miller, well, I guess he was writing at the same time, but this felt like a very Frank Miller-y satire of like
1 million percent.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If this
friend.
isn't, I mean, I'm sure he's a fan of this movie, but this felt like
the president is the dark. The whole thing is the Dark Knight Returns. Like I think the car race in Dark Knight Returns is a direct fucking reference to this movie.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
That's a great point.
Because why else is that in there?
Yeah, and even like I felt like there's a lot of like Martha Washington in this movie. It felt very Frank Miller.
Yeah, Thomasina Payne. Yeah, 1 million
right,
percent.
Exactly.
Well,
like in a good way. I don't mean that
stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get into it. I think this is going to be a Chris Farley style episode of this because I think all three of us really like the movie.
Oh my God.
I hadn't seen it in years, so I was actually like, this is one of those where I was like, I wanted to go back to it because I hadn't seen it in so long. It's funny because Gogs mentioned it too while we were watching it, but he has like this like really like shitty DVD copy of it with like Stallone on the cover, and I used to have that one too, and I bought it at like Martin's or some shit like in like 2002. Like it like we've talked about this on the show a ton, and it's a shame because it's one of these things that's like totally lost to time, but like whenever there was an actor that got huge and he was in like smaller movies, they'd like put these weird distribution companies would come out and they'd put all these movies out in like the crappiest version possible.
I think the one we always go back to is like the Jennifer Aniston and Matthew McConaughey in Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The New Generation.
Well, guys, I mean, here's
absolutely.
the deal. Just to give our audience at home some idea, the DVD of this on Amazon right now, $46. The multi-format, $160.
Is there a Blu-ray of it?
That the multi-format, $160.
Oh my God! How is there not like a Shout Factory or
I know it's another
Syndrome?
lost movie, right? Like
that's insane. This is a lost movie.
It's on Prime.
That's what's wild, right? But if you want to have a physical copy of it, I guess they just never made physical copies of it.
It's fucking well. It's also one of those things where I like Corman's real funny about the rights. So like I think it's one of those movies where like 800 companies had the rights to distribute this movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll get into this. We'll get into the movie later. I actually do think that we'll have a lot to talk about, even though we all are probably going to.
Oh, it's going to be I think there's a lot
movie.
There's a lot to talk about, but just it's wonderful.
So I kind of know what Gogs watched. So Sean.
Oh, that's me. I didn't watch anything.
I'm me.
I'm a guy like me.
Don't joke me around. No, I just between Dragon Quest XI and Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. It's pretty much all I've been doing.
Real talk though,
yeah.
I know how Shredder's Revenge is because it's fucking awesome. How's Dragon Quest 11? How you dealing? How you enjoying
I
it?
fucking love it. Like I was telling TJ offline in our fucking non-Matrix lives that like I started trying to play Octopath Traveler and I was like, this is fucking boring because it's like a SNES style game and I don't have the patience for it.
Mm-hmm.
And Dragon Quest 11 was on Game Pass and it's like I haven't played a Dragon Quest game since like the NES, I don't think. So I was like, I'll kick it on. And it's like, it's like what you expect, and then it gets like super compelling, and I've probably got like 70 or 80 hours into it.
Wow.
I'm not even in like the third act yet. It's got that kind of like Persona 5 thing where you just kind of like lock into it.
So I have a question.
I have it. I bought it on sale on PSN like years ago, and it's on my. You know what I mean? The nice thing about how the PS5 is set up is it's like all that stuff is just it goes to your game library. You can download whenever
it's there
you want.
forever.
You know? Yeah. So like, I just need to get back to playing it. There was a really good one on. I guess it was the previous one to this on PlayStation 2, 3, 4.
Is Dragon Quest the same universe as? Remember Dragon Warrior for the
NES?
NES?
It's the same game. It's just it was called Dragon Quest in Japan, and I guess that was too fruity for America when they brought it over here.
Yeah, it's the same.
The OG Dragon Warrior for the NES. Dragon Warrior and Dragon Warrior 2. Those were probably two of the first RPGs I ever beat.
Well, Dragon Warrior 1 was the first one I ever actually played because it came with Nintendo Power, if I recall correctly. Yep. And also, I remember because it like defaulted the main character's name to Nestor.
That's right.
If you had that version of it.
Dragon Quest in Japan is such a popular game that like they had to put like laws out because kids just didn't go to school when the games would come out. It can only come out during their break or whatever, some shit, right? Yeah, it can only come out during like one of their holidays.
That game is so popular that Yakuza, like a dragon, is like based. The main character in Yakuza is obsessed with that game, even though it's not owned by that company. And like the whole like narrative of the game combat system is based around Dragon Quest, like explicitly.
What a fucking delightful game. Gogs, have you played that yet? Like a Dragon?
No, I haven't played Like a Dragon.
It's so fucking good. Oh my god,
You'd love that.
I bet
it's so fucking good.
Do you guys remember how we can stop making this video game the podcast in a minute? But I'm just like, do you remember how dope the fucking manual and map for the original Dragon Warrior was?
Yeah, that fucking cover was awesome. Yeah.
No, but I mean, the manual they gave you wasn't just a manual; it was a fucking like guidebook, and like that map where you unfolded it was the map of the whole world plus all the enemies, like with all their drops around the edge and shit.
And the lead artist on that is Akira Toriyama, the guy that
Dragon Ball Z.
Ball Z. So the art's really good. He also ended up making Chrono Trigger, which is like one of the greatest SNES RPGs ever.
But the Dragon Quest 11 story is like really good because it's still got that kind of like cutesy anime, but a lot of it's like super dark, and then there's like a lot of like queer themes in it, and it's Japanese, so it's a little goofy with it, but like sensitive at the same time. And the main villain's voice is the same voice as Kazuma from Yakuza, so I was excited about that.
Isn't there like there's kind of like a Persona like hunting element? Like, can't you collect monsters and fight them and stuff?
I don't. I think that's a separate game.
Oh, okay. I thought there was like
there's a slime rancher, monster rancher, some shit like that too. Or maybe it's in this because the game's long as fuck. I think like if you plow straight through the story and don't do anything, it's like 74 hours.
Jesus.
Is the Dragon Warrior or the Dragon Quest games, are they bigger than Final Fantasy is in Japan?
I believe so. Yeah.
That's wild. Well,
I mean, they're still. It's not that fun. I mean, and then Final Fantasy is like still very popular in Japan, but like they've kind of those games have kind of gone downhill. Like they're not as prestigious as they used to.
Who publishes Dragon Quest?
Square Enix.
Oh, it's another Square property. Wow.
Well, it was Enix, and then they merged.
It used to be Enix, and then now they're the same company.
So they just have the market cornered no matter what they do.
Yeah,
they're good either
they're
way.
golden.
All right, that's Sprite and Coke.
Yeah,
basically.
And then Shredder's Revenge is great.
Is that the two soda?
Those are the two sodas you can drink. Sprite and Coke. But shocker, they're both Coke products.
What about Mountain Dew?
I think the side-scrolling beat-em-up might be my favorite genre of video game when it's done well.
How fun is that game?
And you're in the middle of like a renaissance of those kind of games right now.
But it's like
Yeah,
it's got the old school graphics, but it's got new mechanics, and it's
Yeah,
got
like
some
they-
depth to the combat, and you level up the characters.
Oh,
like,
and the fucking air juggling, like I'll just do that shit all
I was
day
just
and like not pay
bouncing dudes
attention to
against the
anything.
wall
Yeah.
for 40 hits. Like me and Vance sat down today and basically beat the game, and I just can't. I'm
Yeah.
excited to go back through it.
What'd you
Yeah.
get it on, GOG's Switch?
I got on the Switch.
Yeah.
Game Pass is like the best thing. It's like I fucking love
Oh,
that shit.
It's only going to get better too.
Yeah.
Like they just did that big like it wasn't called E3, but it was basically E3.
Yeah.
And like every Microsoft announcement's like on Game Pass first day. Like the Starfield, the new
I was
Bethesda
shocked
game.
this was on there first because I'm like, do I really want to spend $25 on this? Like, because it wasn't like Streets of Rage 4 where it was like immediately I'm getting that no matter what. I don't give a shit how bad it is.
Yeah.
And it's like so cheap. Like
Yeah.
it's like
I might not ever buy another game again. Like,
I
period.
mean, why? Like, honestly, like, I mean, I still do, but like, realistically,
It's cheaper than
why
most
do-
streaming services, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like $14
Cheaper than
for that
Netflix.
and gold. Yeah.
Yeah,
Plus, you still get the free gold games plus this, like, which they drop them off here and there. But the awesome thing is, I don't have to spend $60 a year to confirm that Madden still sucks.
yeah, yeah,
True.
And it's got this show. Like, you know what I mean? It's fucking nuts, everything that's on here.
yeah. It's nice that the show is not exclusive to PlayStation
Yeah.
anymore,
This
But that's
episode
all I
brought to you by Microsoft Game Pass.
Hell yeah.
which I don't even have anymore. I used to. I'm too like I just get stuck playing a game, and then it's like, but yeah, fiscally, I should. Just
I
get a
want
game.
to kick it to TJ because I want to hear about this one movie he watched.
Oh, okay.
TJ.
I'm TJ. I watched Phil Tippett's Mad God, a movie that has literally been made by Phil Tippett, who, if you're not familiar with, he's a special effects guru. He's right there with like a Stan Winston. Like he's very well known.
He
in
made the
business.
RoboCop 2. He made Ed
Yeah,
209
he
and all
made-
that shit, the stop motion.
Yeah, he did
And
all the stop motion.
Starship Troopers?
He did Starship Troopers. He did a lot of. He didn't do all of, but he did a lot of the stop motion in Jurassic Park. Like
Yeah.
he's like legendary. Anyway,
He's like
he made-
the successor to, what's his name, Ray Harryhausen.
yeah,
Mm.
in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. And so he's been making this fucking movie by himself, essentially. Like I was reading an interview with him, and he's like, "Well, you know, I did get people to help me like rig up these like sets that he designed, but he built them all."
He moved
And-
all the dudes.
Yeah, and it's insane, and it took him 30 years to make, and then you watch it, and it's like a testament to humanity's creativity. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's on a technical level, it's so mind-numbing that one man designed this fucking movie. And like, the story is whatever. It's basically, I was telling Gogs about this. Like, this is a movie, like, this movie inspired me. I was like, I want to write like a fucking album to this movie and just play it while we play the music to it. Cause like if you watch the movie on mute, you'd get the exact same experience. It's very visual. It's all about the world and the designs and like the crazy atmosphere of the movie. The plot, it kind of doesn't exist, but it doesn't really need to either. It's very short. But it's just visually so amazing. I've never seen stop motion like this. Like,
How much shittier would it be if they just made it all on a computer?
it'd be all you can't even compare. Like it's so like I can't put into words how staggering the visuals in this movie are. And like some of the ideas that he comes up with are like fucking Hieronymus Bosch level of like hell depictions. Like there's this sequence, and it's funny because like, you know, I'm a big nerd and I can recognize things, but he took those. Do you remember the Sin City Marv in the electric chair toys? Like where it was like Marv from Sin City, and it was a Todd toy. You could flip the switch and he would like shake, and he'd talk too. I think he's like, does that like, it's just like out of the comic book and then eventually out of the movie. He took like 5 of those and he changed them around that you couldn't see the face. And then this main character who's like, he's you know, a fraction of the size of these things. So these things are monolithic. They're huge. They're all getting electrocuted to death as they're like shit and piss or is like raining down like behind them like a fucking waterfall. Then the main character descends even further and you see this weird like eyeballed like organic thing that's just drinking it all, and it's just like it's disgusting. It's fucking what? It's like this wet, like scabby World War One. Like,
can you imagine him just having to constantly spray these things? Take a picture, move it an eighth of an inch, take a picture.
It's insane. I've never seen anything like it. And then to learn,
Gogs. Oh, sorry, real quick. Gogs. He also made the Rancor puppet.
That
Did that. Yeah.
It's one of those things where watching the movie by itself, you'd be like, wow, that's really impressive. And then it's like, oh, he made this like in his spare time over 30 years.
He did this for funzos.
When he wasn't making absolute bangers like your entire childhood. Yeah.
It's amazing. He incorporates like actual actors in the movie in like weird, unwholesome like ways. Like he the stuff that he does with the stop motion, there's things in there that I've never seen before. And there's tricks that he does that I'm not even sure how he does it. Like some of the movement is done so well. Like,
does it have that like? I kind of appreciate stop motion jank. That little bit of like hesitation in it. Is it that? Or yeah.
It definitely has that. And then when they introduce the real people, there's definitely aspects of that there that makes it even more like uncanny and weird. But this movie is absolutely amazing. If you've ever liked to stop motion, like you need to see this movie. It's absolutely incredible. And it's another fucking Shudder yet again. Shudder exclusive. Like Shudder continues to be like the fucking go-to streaming service for like really interesting projects. But I can't recommend it enough. Like I thought it was absolutely amazing. It's something I could definitely see myself revisiting a lot too, because like it's just so much to like take in. And it's also something where again, like put on like it'd be fun to see like what music would like sync up well to it. Like it's one of those because there's also no dialogue. There's no dialogue in the whole movie. There's like weird sounds and there's like a soundscape. There's a hints of a soundtrack, but not much of one. And the overall plot is basically this guy who looks like he came off the Battle of Verdun, is in this weird diving bell, and he just keeps going lower and lower and lower into this like hellscape. And then you find out that he's got this suitcase with him and he's got this deteriorating map. And then you find out that he's basically trying to like destroy this whole area and it doesn't go well. And then it just kind of goes even crazier from there. There's like this sequence where he's basically vivisected, which is amazing. And this like scientist basically sticks this camera in his brain, and then that transitions to what I assume is like his memories, which is just fucking wild. Like I don't know, I fucking loved it. I 10 plus. Like it's a fucking again, it's a testament to mankind that this thing exists. Like it's beautiful, it's disgusting, it's creative. I can't say enough good things about it. Like I don't even understand how one person could do this. Like it boggles the mind. But yeah, I highly recommend Mad God. I thought it was great. And then the other thing I watched is Tabled because I watched it with Gogs.
Ooh.
So Gogs.
So I watched two things besides what I watched with TJ. Two things. And before we get into that, shout out to Hieronymus Bosch. I don't think he gets enough respect for both the paintings and the wiper blades, both just standouts in their
and the cop show and the
cops.
Yeah.
And the washing machines. So I watched
and his son Chris, the former forward for the Miami Heat.
Yeah, and the TV show Bosch.
I like it. Yeah, Chris Bosch's dad is Hieronymus Bosch, who died like 600 years ago or something.
Yeah,
he's like an immortal. It's a Highlander situation.
No, there's no way it was 600 years ago.
Chris Bosch also a dinosaur, so who knows how old he is.
I watched three things, one of which with TJ.
Three things?
Of the three things I watched, the first was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's Jungle Cruise. I'm just going to go out and say it. I really liked it. I watched it with my kids, had fun with it. It was.
Would you like it, sans kids?
I think I do. I'll be honest. It's like, it's not complicated, but it's, it's a fun, it's like a fun, like National Treasure light-esque escapade. The Rock's good in it. Emily Blunt's good in it. The action scenes are fun. It's, like a less annoying Pirates of the Caribbean another movie based on a ride, which
It's
is
funny
weird
how
that they
we
just keep
went-
making movies based on rides.
We went from this high concept, high art thing to a movie that's
Like
literally
passion.
based on a theme park
Like
ride.
passion, just like it's but the
Well, you
Rock's
remember
charming.
they made Disney's The Haunted House like a few years ago?
Yeah.
And, like, I don't
The
think anyone's
Tower of
thought
Terror or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disney's Ferris wheels coming
You
out.
can't
next
wait
year.
till Dole Whip the movie.
Yeah.
Was it like what was that shitty ass movie with George Clooney, like Tomorrowland? Isn't
Leatherheads.
Nice.
isn't that like a part of Epcot Tomorrow?
I think it is part of. I think it's part of Epcot. Yeah.
Yeah, that
There's
movie.
That Brad Bird movie everybody hates.
Yeah, it's fucking awful.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? It's really bad.
No.
I mean, they're out of ideas, but this idea they were out of is fun, and Paul Giamatti's cute in it. So, if you decide to have kids, watch Jungle Cruise. Then the other thing I watched, I did not enjoy as much, and I wanted to. I watched the brand new, crisp off the presses Netflix original Spiderhead.
Oh,
Yeah,
you were really
I had to-
excited.
I had to look up because we just get this text, a little inside baseball, just said this Spiderhead movie. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I thought,
Sorry.
and I immediately thought of, isn't that the thing you get from the fucking the Maelstrom gang in Cyberpunk in the very beginning of the
I
game?
think that's right.
Isn't
You're
that called
right.
it's like a military hardware.
Yeah, it's
that
like
they
that. It's like
steal.
it's that tech drone. That's like the first thing you do in Cyberpunk.
Sorry, I know it's video game the podcast, but I will still defend Cyberpunk till my
You know
dying
what?
day. That game fucking rules.
It was worth all the money I spent on it.
Dude,
I had a fucking
love,
blast.
I fucking love that game.
I
I
think
was
my
playing
character.
it a little bit today.
I
I
think
still haven't played it because I think it's like 112 gig download or some
Oh, it's
shit.
insane.
Yeah.
And I think my character died base jumping through space, if that's a thing. But I don't know. It's up to interpretation.
It's a great game.
But Spiderhead, Chris Hemsworth, Miles Teller. It's not necessarily either of their faults so much as it's the fault of whoever wrote it. It's
Who wrote
not.
it?
I don't know. Some jackass. Here's the premise.
I'll look
The
at
premise is in a future not too far from our own,
A Day Not Far From Tomorrow.
you can trade your prison sentence. You can volunteer to be a lab rat at this basically testing facility / prison where you get like loose rules and whatever, and you get this little fucking thing strapped to the base of your spine, and then from a smartphone, Chris Hemsworth can dole out various concoctions that they're trying to test that can make you think everything is funny, or can make you terrified, or can make you just want to eat, and all this other crazy shit. And the concept is kind of like very Black Mirror. And it starts out, you're kind of like interesting. And then like when the ultimate like sort of motivation for everything's revealed, it's kind of like,
it was three writing credits for this fucking movie.
well,
One of them's it's based on a book. The other two are Reese and Wernick, the guys that wrote Retaliation and Deadpool.
And Deadpool, yeah.
So
And then it
here's-
was directed by Tron Legacy and Maverick guy.
He also wrote Six Underground, which I think somebody on the show liked. If I remember
Alec
correctly.
liked it, I think. I haven't seen it yet.
That's
That's
He
another
also
Netflix original.
He wrote Zombieland.
Yeah.
Very strange.
So here's the thing, right? The movie starts out with this very serious tone about like, what you're willing to give up in your humanity to become this lab rat, and what you're willing to trade, and what's the price of technology, and yada yada yada. And you don't really know, you can't really get a read on Hemsworth. Is he altruistic? Is he a genius? Is he a sociopath? And then that all flies out the window in the third act, where it becomes sort of a slapstick comedy, like apropos of nothing, and then like everything that sort of was built on just sort of falls apart like immediately. Like it was just like, like we'll just do this now. It doesn't. It's a mess. Like the end of the movie is just a fucking mess, and it feels like they ran out of steam about halfway through. Like they had a pretty interesting concept, and then they didn't know how to wrap it up, so they just said,
They're like,
let's just wing it. And then it didn't. And then like it was like it became like Benny Hill level running around a complex at the end. Like if it had that's all it needed. Like it just was a
And
mess.
some light sexual assault.
Yeah, just some running in and out, and people are in bras and panties, and then they're being chased by bobbies and that sort of scenario. It's not Chris Hemsworth's fault. I like Miles Teller as an actor. I thought he did a fine job, and it's got.
Is Chris Hemsworth stuck in that mode now where he's just kind of Chris Hemsworth?
He's Hemsworthing this up pretty hard. Like he's kind of funny, charming, kind of like he's trying to play it like what's Poe Dameron's real name?
Oh, Oscar Isaac.
He's trying to play
Ex Machina.
He's trying to play it like that, right?
Oh man, he's got to give him the old "you can't outact me, boy. Don't even try."
He's kind of like, and I think that's the Ex Machina vibe is what I think they're trying to go for, and they just completely lose the thread by the end.
Ex Machina for Dummies, says Gogs Movie the Podcast.
And it's got I've never seen her in anything else. I don't think she's not bad in it. Journey Smollett. I don't know her name.
You've seen her in something. She was in Birds of Prey. She played Black Canary in that.
Shout out Birds of Prey. I love Birds of Prey.
She's very hot.
Speaking of Joseph Kosinski, like I want to love Tron Legacy. I'm like unironically really want to enjoy that movie, and I just can't.
No, because it's trash.
Yeah, Tron Legacy sucks.
But I wanted to like Spiderhead, but it's just like I'm saying it's like a bad episode of Black Mirror they didn't know how to wrap up. It's just too it's just so first act.
It's one of the last episodes. It's like one of the last season's episodes of Black Mirror.
Yeah, like first half I'm there. Second half or first act I'm there. Second act I'm like, okay, where are they going with this? And by third act I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys, how the fuck did we get here? So it was like, progressively just it probably started at an 8 and ended at a 2. It was it was like cryptocurrency. It plummeted. Like this is the Ethereum of movies.
That is rough. That is a rough slide, right?
It's an aggressive angle. That thing was
moving. That kind of throws mud into my theory, though. My you know what you're going to get in 20 minutes because it sounds like you were in, and then they just.
I was in, but I'm dummy. I was just like, ooh, science, prison. I love science in prison.
All I can think of is fucking King Arthur when it starts out with that fucking spectral war with the giant elephants, and then it just tanks immediately after that.
Right. Yeah. But, yeah. So it was. Don't watch. I mean, watch Spiderhead. Do whatever you want. Live your life. Do your own research. But I don't recommend it. And then the third thing, thankfully,
it's a terrible title. Also, by the way,
Spiderhead. Dumb terrible title. Now let's talk about great titles because the third thing I watched with TJ, and I'll put it on Front Street. I fucking adored it. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nicholas Winding Cage and Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal.
Is the JCVD for
the
Nick
JCVD
Cage.
for Nick Cage, and I'm gonna just say first of all, Nick Cage is great in it, but Pedro Pascal is fucking transcendent. He's really great.
He kind of steals the show in the movie. Like he's very, very.
Is he playing Pedro Pascal or is he playing
No, basically what happens is that Nick Cage is Nick Cage, and he's got money problems. He's estranged from his relationship with his daughter, and his ex-wife is really bad, and he's basically in like a tailspin career-wise. And then Pedro Pascal is this rich, like he basically hires Nick Cage just to hang out for a weekend, but he's like this very rich implied like cartel leader. What was his?
He's an olive oil sale. He's like fucking Vito Corleone. He's in olive oil shipping, but then the truth comes out that he's an arms dealer.
Yeah,
and he wants to pitch this movie he's written to Nick Cage, and he loves Nick Cage. Like his top 3 movies are Face Off.
Okay.
The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and Paddington 2. Those are
there is a joke in this movie, like right in the beginning, where like Nick Cage is in a therapy session with his therapist, and his daughter. And like the daughter is talking about how like he's like, we were watching a film together, and she's like, we watched some movie, the Island of Doctor, and he's like, no, it's the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and I'm dying. Like it references fucking movie, and it's like Like, I don't. It was just such a funny, like, what a funny pull to put in this movie. Also, like, Pedro Pascal is like a weeb for Nick Cage. You find out,
Oh my
like,
God.
there's this part. So I don't want to give too much away, but like, Nick Cage gets entangled with the FBI or the CIA. And because they're trying to take down Pedro Pascal.
And that's all in the trailer. That's not a spoiler.
Yeah. But like, there's one point where Nick Cage thinks like he's evil and he's gonna have to take him down, and Pedro's taking him to his like he's like, once you go through this door, it's like this secret stash place.
Secret lair.
Like, once you go through this door, you're not going to think of me the same. And, you know, as the audience, you're like, oh, God, this is like, he's going to have hostages in here. It's going to be guns. It's going to be dead people.
Yeah.
And it's like this like museum.
He has the axe from Mandy. He's got like.
Are there any references to like Next or The Day After and shit like that?
They made a whole scene out of guarding Tess.
Yeah. Yeah. There's this wax stand-up, this wax figurine of Nick Cage, which I'm pretty sure they made that because there is that hilarious meme for the face-off. You ever see that meme with the Nick Cage and John Travolta, like Madame Tussauds wax figures of them? They're it's terrifying. I'm pretty sure that's why they made this one in this movie. I don't want to give too much away because it is genuinely very funny. It's like one of the funnier films I've seen lately.
It's better than JCVD then, because I know you hated that or you didn't like it.
JCVD.
Well, I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you what the difference between the two movies. JCVD is like Jean-Claude Van Damme, like telling us that how awesome he is, even when he's like a loser. Because that's my problem with that movie is like he's still fantastic. Like this movie, Nick Cage is like taking a piss on himself. Like he's really definitely like very vulnerable in this movie, and like. I think like
I don't think that's the right turn of phrase, but I like it better.
Yeah.
He's taking the piss out of himself, not taking a piss on himself.
No, it's lightning in a pan all over.
A handstand and letting loose.
But I really like the movie. I thought Nick Cage was good in it, and it's funny because like he's not like Nick. He's not like super like insane cagey in this. I mean, he is. But it's like for a joke, like when he's playing more of himself. I don't know. I really enjoyed the movie.
I think there was a lot of genuine Nick Cage in his performance. Like I wouldn't be surprised if his favorite movie is The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure he's a fucking nerd. He's like grew up in a film family. Yeah, he's a Coppola. I mean,
but like
his uncle made Jack.
Yeah. Like he's having like I think Nick Cage probably had a good time making it. It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. It's paid. Like I'm saying, I cannot say this enough. Pedro Pascal in this movie is so just
nobody
charming.
Has had a career like Nicolas Cage as an adult where it's like garbage movie, art movie, garbage movie, art movie. Like, and he just doesn't care.
And like,
he addresses that in this too, which is fun.
The other thing that I want to point out about this movie that I like so much, it felt like a throwback comedy where it's like. It's kind of wacky premise and like, you know, they like the shenanigans kept getting higher and higher. It felt very
like a Top Secret or something like that kind of wacky
version of like Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Remember how that like premise, like it's a very, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's a comedy that's like very heavily based in its premise. Like it's not, it's like a very like, I don't know.
Very meta. And like it's why
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, and honestly, like I went in with a lot of trepidation. Like I
think we're usually pretty close on meta stuff, where it's like, like I like being John Malkovich, but
this is his being John Malkovich, basically.
But I also am kind of like I like Nick Cage, and I've liked Mandy and some other things that he's done, but like. I kind of was worried that this is like when the memes become self-aware and you get it's Morbin time and it's not I was a little worried about this movie, but I was wrong. It's very good. I really enjoyed it. I recommend everybody watching it.
This is the best thing he's done since Spider-Verse. Easily.
When did Mandy come out?
Mandy came out in 2018, same year as Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Like
I mean, I like Mandy more than this, but
the joke in Spider-Verse that he has where he's trying to do the Rubik's Cube and like he doesn't understand the concept of color is so fucking funny every time I see it.
Yeah, it's like, it's really, I don't know, it's really, really good. It's not going to beat out the Norseman or Everything Everywhere All at Once for my 2022 movie of the year, but it's going to be in the discussion of the top
good.
5.
I saw a Letterboxd review for the Norseman. Just said, "This is what it's like working at Starbucks." That was the whole review.
All right. Well, that's everybody.
Everybody.
Let's get into our feature presentation. Gogs, what happened? This is going to be very
Oh
quick.
my God!
What happened in Death Race 2000?
Oh, this
Spoiler
movie.
alerts. Whose joke is it? Is it Patton Oswalt's joke where he's like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like the best movie because it tells you exactly what you're getting?
Yeah.
That you can apply that to this movie as well.
It's like the fucking pieces. It's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah. I was talking as we were watching or just afterwards. I was talking to TJ. I was like, "That's the Sean of movies. It's absolutely all gassed up and there's no fat on it. Like it's just like."
I forget what movie we were talking about where I said it should win an Academy Award for fastest, like, get to the point ever or something recent. But this one's like,
this movie opens with the third act. Like it just goes, "Hey guys."
Yeah, it really does.
It basically starts with the racers are taking the line. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not scene setting.
Well, you know what? It opens with a fucking guy like with a swastika flag, and it's like, okay, I know what movie I'm watching. Like immediately.
Yeah, it's like
I feel like if you made this movie nowadays, at very least you'd have that annoying ass Suicide Squad bullshit where it'd be like Frankenstein. But
well, if you made this movie nowadays, it would be the first hour and a half of the Hunger Games. Like that's the setup, right? Like,
so you have to pick all this up just through context cues and conversations, which is wonderful. And it's just, hey, we're having this race. It's the death race. The racers are coming to the line. 5 racers, 3 days across America. Mr. President, we don't know where he is, but he's happy that you're here to celebrate everything that's wonderful. They have a bishop of speed
when they introduced Frankenstein,
this thing,
and he's on like a fucking medical cart, and he's all covered in bandages, and they're asking him the whereabouts of the president.
The Undertaker's he's sits up straight, and then they're like, "How's your new hand? Can you shift?"
Or Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah. So everybody's getting to the cars, and you've got Frankenstein and his girl Friday, and then you've got Machine Gun Joe Viterbo, played by Sylvester Stallone.
He's so fucking fun in this movie. I can't stand it.
His whole personality is just screaming and misogyny, and it's awesome.
It's so
he
good.
fucking opens up a Tommy gun into the crowd in the first 10 seconds.
Loved by thousands, hated by millions. Then you've got Calamity Jane and I don't know her sidekick Neil Young.
Hey, let me pause you real quick. Calamity Jane is played by the aforementioned Mary Wernoff from Night of the Comet and Eating Raoul, and she might be this might be my ultimate movie crush. Just her in this movie because I find her impressive, and also she has that slightly mannish look that I enjoy in a tall woman.
There's a lot of hot chicks in this movie. The
Nazi chick.
The Nazi chick is super hot.
All the chicks in this movie are hot.
So Stallone's navigator, I wasn't really feeling her, and then there's a scene in the movie where they're all naked in this movie.
Just getting beefcake rub downs after the first leg.
That girl has an ass from the back, one of those you can see it from the wrong angles. You're like, oh my god,
a Miss Fat Booty.
Yeah, she's ass so fat you can see it from the front.
And so I'm sorry. So you have the Nazis in the Buzz Bomb. You've got Cobra Kai in the Julius Caesar mobile.
Yeah.
You've got Rocky and his lady, every ditzy New York secretary from
his
Mad Men.
Yeah.
And then you've got Frankenstein in his lizard mobile, and you've got Calamity Jane and Neil Young. And they're like, let's go. And they start tearing off, and their rubbins racing the whole time. And people are getting... You got the most over the top Peter Benchley Pride Month everybody, it's time
that guy
for Death
is
Race.
Great. He's one of the best parts of the movie.
I know you guys aren't basketball fans, but Craig Sager, who used to do NBA stuff on TNT, do the draft and the player interviews, would dress just like that. These huge pink salmon flamboyant suits and shit.
Well, the guy.
Well, then the other guy is clearly Howard Cosell. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then so they're explaining all. Here are the rules of the death race. 3 days to make it across the country, and here's the scoring. Babies are worth 1,000 points. Old people are worth 6. No one really ever explains. So here's my two major
I
issues
thought
with
it was like
whole,
population control with like the old people, like a Logan's Run thing.
but it's also for scoring, right?
Well,
but here's what I don't get. Right
later on, go ahead, guys. Sorry.
So you have 3 days. It's like it's the first person to get to LA from New York or whatever it is, right?
LA.
But at the end of every leg, they all meet back up and get massaged down or have a dance, and then they start at the same spot. So it's like, what was the point of getting there first? Also, when do the points come into play? So from a
maybe it's like a thing where it's like points versus time. I assume there's like a formula.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just need to talk to the Death Race Commission about how this all. Well, it's been abolished, so it really doesn't make a difference anymore.
There's a part later on that I love where they're just lining up old people in wheelchairs outside of a hospital, and it's like euthanasia day. Yeah,
it's so funny when he fucking runs over all those doctors, and they cut to it. It's like, you know what? Those doctors have been pretty smug all these years.
That shit, like, that reminds me of shit that fucking conservatives say nowadays.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's. I think you said it in the text, Sean, but this movie is like oddly prescient in a weird way. Like,
well, it's like, I think we talked a while back about the Belko experiment and like how exploitation movies like are generally very like ham-fistedly political, and this is too, but like it was high satire in 1975, and in 2021 it's like
yeah, it's barely satire.
Yeah,
I mean, you get guys that are like, yeah, Nazis are cool, and it's like, I bet 1970, like, that's crazy. Nowadays, it's like, oh yeah, they're
this is actively happening.
Also, shout out to Frank Miller when he saw the swastikas.
Yeah, like this movie's very friendly. We talked about
and the pervert suit. Yeah.
Pervert suit, swastikas. Dear friend of mine, Dr. Wampler, I think, is in this movie.
Yeah.
Fucking Frankenstein's outfit is so fucking awesome. That the fucking cape and the like gimp suit, it's so good. And David Carradine rocks in this movie.
He fucking rules. It is funny though that like he is meant to be sexually attractive because he's so bizarre looking, but he's a
very odd looking man.
Well, they juxtapose his his presumed deformities with his mediocre face. Anyway, so the race is underway. You get through the first leg. Oh, here's the whole plot. There is a underground group of direct descendants of the Revolutionary War who are trying to rein in the death race and take America back from the, I guess, V for Vendetta-esque fascist police state that it's currently in.
You also get like labor organization vibes too. At least I did. I thought, So, and the economy, I don't know if you're going to touch on this. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Like, you're meant to understand that it's like basically what it is now. Like, inflation's out of control. The economy is terrible, but they just keep blaming it on whatever.
The French.
Yeah, well, the French later, yeah.
So they are running across America. This resistance group has all sorts of plans akin to Operation Bad Habit from Frisky Dingo, where they're going to dress up as ladies and blow up these racers with the hope of getting Frankenstein, kidnapping Frankenstein, and then replacing him with this a double so that guy can assassinate the president, I guess.
No, they're delivering an ultimatum.
Yeah.
It's some kind of weird negotiation tactic.
But like the Frankenstein's navigator is Thomasina Payne. She's the leader of this resistance's granddaughter, and she's in on it, and she's a bit of a honeypot. But then you find out that Frankenstein was raised in some sort of Frankenstein camp where they keep churning out fresh Frankensteins, and he's done with it. So he wants to blow up the president with his custom-made grenade hand. So you have to pull the pin on, which I don't know how that's going to work in a handshake scenario, but that's fine.
We could pull it and then shake.
Calls it a hand grenade, which is so funny. Like because what the fucking the result of it is like it's a hand grenade.
So the resistance is killing off racers. They kill off Cobra Kai first, and then they kill off the Nazis.
He gets it in like the most hilarious way because he's like he sees like a family out on a picnic and they got a baby, and he's like, "Goodbye, baby." And the baby is a bomb. So
the baby's a bundle of TNT
yeah.
with a bonnet on.
But the level of like bloodlust is fucking hilarious. And Calamity Jane has a funny line later in the movie where she's like, "I'm losing my bloodlust."
And everybody's also intensely horny because it's a 1975 exploitation movie. And I'm going to put it out there. There's a way that the Navigator lays up that whole bedroom scene where it's like this floating bedroom that like Tony Scott wishes he could stage. That would be the sexiest way a woman has ever lain on a bed in a major motion picture.
With the double doors with the exit bars.
Sign. Yeah. Roger Corman couldn't help himself but to not fucking cover up that goddamn exit sign in that room.
Yeah.
It was like, come on, dude.
But,
they made this movie for $100.
We looked it up. They said the budget for this movie is between $350,000 and $500,000,
and they shot it in 3 days.
It made $5 to $8 million, so it's a certified banger.
They made this movie for under $1 million.
Yeah,
with Stallone. He was
before he was
pre-Rocky Stallone. Rocky was the next year. So the movie progresses as movies do. They're running over civilians. The commentators are just having the best time ever. The resistance keeps picking people off.
It's got the whole 1984 thing too, where like every time like something happens, the guy has to read it, and somebody comes in and like, no, read this. And it's like, you're blown up by the French.
Oh my God! It was the French. The French Air Force is bombing Frankenstein,
who are also responsible for the economy. So the president's in a palace in Shanghai, somewhere
presumably we rule the world, I guess. But anyway, they're racing across the country.
The American flag is fucking awesome.
Oh, the American flag's metal as shit.
Yeah, like the super fascist flag.
Oh, it couldn't be any more fascist.
It's a fist with a lightning bolt.
It's a fist with a lightning bolt and blood red stripes.
Yeah.
So then. They're making so every day they race and kill people. Every night they get together and have like a acid infused dance party with some fisticuffs potentially.
Violins.
There's a lot of the cat.
Oh my God! I told you guys to stop playing that song.
I think eating buckets of cum.
Yeah, Stallone
Stallone's also dressed. He's from Chicago, so he's dressed up like the most. He looks like.
Straight up from Oscar,
he looked like he went.
He looks like a Dick Tracy villain.
Halloween. He went to Spirit Halloween and got the like 30s mobster costume.
Yeah. These are Stanzo brand fedoras.
Stanzos, they're nice.
These are Stanzos, they're nice. 50 slick back hair wigs. So, this keeps happening day in and day out till you whittle everyone down to it's finally just. Machine Gun Joe Viterbo versus Frankenstein in the last leg of the race to Los Angeles.
Resistance Force has several failed attempts to try to get Frankenstein, but then towards the end, they don't realize that Frankenstein's really on their side the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they believe that this is a man who's been taken apart and put together numerous times. And not just a guy who is tired of this. Are
we not going to touch on the Resistance's Looney Tunes assassination where they have the tunnel painted?
Yeah. The word detour. So, the word detour. Then they hang a fake tunnel with drapes on it, and that causes two Nazis to fly off a cliff. Not gonna lie, I might try that at the next Proud Boys rally in DC. See how many.
Also, I think Gogs mentioned it while we watched the movie, but I do appreciate the fact that the two Nazis don't like speak in German accents or anything. They're
one's from Milwaukee.
Americans. Yeah, they're just Americans.
They said, what's her name? The Nazi from Milwaukee. Like the announcer says it.
Yeah, that's great.
What's her name? Matilda the Hun?
Yeah.
But at one point she does scream Blitzkrieg, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, I got hard.
And Calamity Jane is either fucking or trying to fuck her navigator.
Yes.
But apparently she's trying to bang everybody.
Well, also Matilda runs over the fucking Glenn Campbell when he's on the side of the road doing something.
It's hilarious. The vehicular homicide in this movie is always hilarious. Like the three guys that like try to get out of the way in the manhole, and then the one guy, they just shut it on the one guy, and he's just like, oh no, oh shit.
Yeah.
The color they landed on for the fake blood is like hysterical. It looks like a vodka sauce almost.
Yeah.
Like it's not quite right. Also, one guy gets it straight in the dick earlier.
Yeah. I also like. I think
dude,
Stallone.
it's so. I'm sorry, it's so funny. I don't mean to cut you off, but while I'm thinking of it, Stallone knocks a guy off a ladder. There's two
That's
guys
what I was
doing.
talking
Oh
about.
yeah. Go ahead.
And he's like, "Should I keep him? Should I let him live?" And the guy's like, "Nah, kill him."
Yes,
Give him like that thumbs down that I gave you at fucking Batman versus Superman or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
The stink face.
Stallone's car has a big Bowie knife on the front.
On the front of it,
it's got two Tommy guns where the headlights should be, and then a bayonet in the center. But it's anyway. So they're racing across the country. They throw the hand grenade at Machine Gun Joe Viterbo. He explodes. So now, by default, Frankenstein wins the death race
and the presidency.
And then he gets to meet the president again.
Yeah.
And then sort of in a so his navigator dresses up like Frankenstein. The resistance doesn't realize this. They're tired of Frankenstein, so they try and shoot Frankenstein. They really shoot a member of their own resistance, but then in a move akin to the third and final act of comedy classic Animal House, they do a DTX mobile onto the grandstand, and that, instead of killing the mayor of the town and the dean of Faber College, they kill the president of the United States, which then, through some form of presicide, I guess, makes you the new president.
I believe it's called the law of transitive property.
So now Frankenstein, which sets a terrible precedent of just whoever kills the president.
I mean, think about the condition of the country in this movie. It makes perfect sense. Like, he's like the most loved figure in the country, and they love death and violence. So, I mean,
which, if you weren't aware of the thesis of the movie, they have voiceover narration. The violence was invented in fucking
Dude,
funny.
that part when Howard Cosell is explaining the history of violence.
Yeah.
And then the movie, and then
no! It's he assumes the presidency and gets like a badass Lamborghini, as you should.
Yeah.
And then the Stanley Tucci from the Hunger Games character, I don't know what his name is. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Oh, the people will only love you because of you can't abolish the death race. They love violence." And the navigator's like, we don't have to listen to this, do we?
The navigator and now the first lady of the United States of America.
Oh, he's appointed an entire cabinet. Like, this coup has taken 30 seconds.
Yeah. And he runs over the announcer, and then you just get a Howard Cosell voiceover as the Lamborghini just flies off to the new capital, wherever that is, because they're not moving. The capital is no longer. I guess the capital was L.A.
Well, no, I forget. They're moving it to New L.A. where it used to be. So,
and then that's it. This movie is 79 minutes of just pure adrenaline. It's a movie made by a madman. I don't know.
This movie fucking rules.
It's like Fury Road level of enjoyment from cover to cover. Like, it's just like so fun.
You could watch this twice in a row and then watch the last 40 minutes of Avengers Endgame. This is how short this movie is.
Like, we had to pause it because my kid was coming to say goodnight to us, and then we realized there was 19 minutes left. We were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like,
crazy.
This thing just goes.
Yeah.
And it starts in 11 and it just holds it.
It does not waste any time.
The fact that they can build a solid, like, economic dystopia that you understand in between people getting run over with cars, and it all takes place in less than 90 minutes is like an accomplishment.
It's like BioShock. You're getting it all just from like tape recordings and shit picked up in the background. You're like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, there's not a minute of this movie I would delete.
No,
it's perfect.
And I wouldn't make it any longer either.
No, it doesn't need to be. It tells, it is like, they should show this to film schools and go, just do this.
Yeah.
This is all you need to do. Just,
and again, a lot of it's Corman, so I'm sure a lot of the reasons that we like the movie were budgetary, restraints on his part, stuff that he had to, like,
But it looks so good. It looks
Yeah,
so
this is
good.
one of the-
Because they shot it on film.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to
but me and
say,
TJ were
it's
talking
one of
about
the best examples of like you shoot something on film, it just looks good.
Well, it was
Like,
also shot by Tak Fujimoto, who shot like Silence of the Lambs. He was like a real ass cinematographer.
Oh,
like,
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
wow.
we were looking at so we like TJ and I were just like we were gushing over this. Like that opening shot at the stadium with the matte painting background that's just like
Oh, it looks amazing.
quasi futuristic Jetson city back there. Like it's just I don't know, man. Like you could show this to somebody and if they pay attention, they understand everything. Like you get it and you don't need there's no exposition. There's no like it's just you get everyone's motivation.
Whoever was saying if they made this now, there would have been a scene where he pulls over and she explains the entire history of the resistance, like a campfire scene, and it goes on for 25 minutes.
Oh God, yeah, you're absolutely right about that.
Gox, I've never seen the Paul Anderson Death Race. What is that even about?
That is, and I've seen several of them. I think I've seen at least 2. I've seen both of the statums. There's 4 of them.
Oh my God.
That is more akin to The Longest Yard.
Okay.
Where it is the death race is held sort of either within or between the penal systems as sort of a like prisoners do this as a way to win time off of their sentences. And it becomes gladiator style combat to satiate the bloodlust of the masses.
Okay.
That's the bit of that death race.
So they missed the point.
There's a scene in this movie that's so fucking funny and dark where like one of the guys that gets, I forget who it is, gets killed. Like I think it's the first guy that gets killed in the death race, and they keep cutting to this big booby lady, and she drags this sobbing woman out onto this like talk show, and it's like,
oh yeah,
you're the widow of the first person killed in death race. You'll be watching next year's death race from your new apartment in Acapulco. And it's like, just like shuddering and crying, like it's fucking hysterical.
Yeah, and it's like, and yeah, she did her 50-inch 3D TV.
Yeah. 50, I said that I was thinking like, God, what
that would have weighed 1,000 pounds.
Also, like, can you imagine what people must have thought of a 50? That must have been like that was science fiction because the biggest TV back then was like 19 inches.
I think this movie is the reason I love Series 7 so much because it's got like a kind of spiritual connection. Like, there's a lot of movies like this where it's like, again, to bring up the Hunger Games, which Battle is like,
Royal, like very, very similar.
Yeah, Running Man. All those things.
Yeah, but this movie does it better than all of them. Like, and I don't even think it's close.
You liked 20. I liked 2050. You liked 20. We watched it together, didn't we, Sean?
I think we either did or we watched it the same week.
Yeah.
They go to the fucking Bechdel bar with the or with the 2 women, and it's fucking hysterical. Like, it's very much of a like modern take on this.
I need to watch it.
I like 2050. I think I have it. Well, wait. Was it free? Did I buy it?
I think it was
a Netflix original, I think.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
But it's that movie was fun, and that's got is that Malcolm McDowell or the other one?
It's Malcolm or Terrence Stamp. No, I think it's Malcolm McDowell.
Which one? That's one too.
This movie's like I was texting guys, and I think we touched on it all. Like, for a movie from exploitation movie from 1975 to be like more socially literate than movies that are like attempting to be so right now is saying something. Like, just kind of like, again, because this was like high satire then, and now, that's what less than 30 years removed from the end of World War II. So the idea that you'd have all these swastikas is like insane. Plus, like, exploitation movies love Nazi shit. But like now it like.
See Black Gestapo.
Bro, I'm not even like taken aback by seeing that fucking that symbol anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
seeing that at a NASCAR event, like
that's
that makes
nuts.
Yeah. This is made by people who this is made and viewed by people who remember or participated in World War II.
Yeah,
like it's insane.
All right. Anything else, guys? Before we get into 5 knuckle shuffles, I have a pretty good idea what all the scores are going to be.
Yeah, the gore gags are fucking hysterical, though. There's not a ton of them, but when they're in there, are like hilarious.
Oh, it's like their balloons popped with just fucking red dye.
Good. They're so good.
Yeah. Let's
all right. Sean.
10. I mean, this is one of those movies that even if you haven't seen it, you've seen parts of it because, like, how many different things have they made that? Oh, hit the old lady. That's 10 points. That's from
They
this.
made a whole video game about this. The Carmageddon is just.
Oh yeah.
The car, Gogs pointed out, the main car in Carmageddon is the fucking Frankenstein car, just this different color.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, like, fucking, I was raised in a fucking lab where they raise Frankenstein drivers, which also leads you to believe they've been doing this for, like, ever. Like, you know what I mean? And then it's like, and the only survivor, so, like, everybody dies every year, and it's just like, it never ends. And, like, it's, like, besides the Resistance, who, like, don't even seem that, like, bothered by it, like, it's nobody, like, in a lesser movie, again, it would cut to a bunch of people at home going, like, I don't know if the death race is a good thing. Like, even at the end, nobody gives a shit about like, it's been abolished. They're just like, oh. Like, there's no, like, grand realization like you would have in, like, a preachier movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, oh, well, now I'm president. I've killed the president. Now I'm the president. And we're not doing the death race anymore. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like Gogs like say, coats the coast like butter and toast. Like, there's not a wasted moment in this entire movie. Even in their weird 360 fuck scenes feel like totally like normal and doesn't feel like it slows the movie down at all. When he's like, he doesn't even say like, would you care to dance? He's like, do you like the dancing? Or the way he says it's like super weird.
Something fucking weird, yeah.
But he's wearing his fucking pervert mask and his glove, and it's just like, she's like, oh, is that the leg that got blown off? And yup. Is that the such and such?
We didn't touch on it, but one of my favorite little side plots is like the cult of Frankenstein.
Oh yeah.
All these like young girls that like love Frankenstein, and they just like they love him so much they want to sacrifice their bodies to him. Like, I fucking love that shit.
I want one of those those black t-shirts with just the big white F on it. Nah, this movie's fucking perfect. Like, I just like, who doesn't love this movie? I don't know. Gox.
10. Yeah. It's fucking great. Like, I like, we were 15 minutes into it. I look at TJ, like TJ, we're talking like, there's no way this isn't going to be like, I think from the beginning, I was like, this is 9 or better just from Jump Street. Cause I hadn't watched it. I'd watched it several times. I think this is probably my 4th or 5th viewing of it. I think I've seen it within the last 5 years. And I remember liking it every time. And this might have been my favorite viewing of it.
Yeah.
Like, this is just, it's like everything we said, right? You know exactly what everyone's doing, why they're doing it. There's not a wasted moment. There's no fucking fat. There's none of that. There's no, the fact that you just don't get any exposition and you just dropped into this and got to figure it out. And
you don't have John Hurt in a cave like the land before the death race.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not even like a freaking text scroll in the beginning. It's wonderful. It's just like,
the title card is the beginning of the race.
Yeah, it goes and you get it, but guess what? You understand. I have no questions. I mean, I have questions about the rules, but from a plot standpoint,
the rules.
Yeah. You're up here with your rules. When do I get a freaking car? But no, it's a 10. Like, I love this movie. I wish they would make more movies like this. They can't, I guess, but like, this is, I'll go back to it. Show it to film students and go, see this, do this. That's all you have to do. Boom. And you can do it for under $1 million. And it looks better. The fact that they did this for $500,000 and it looks better than $100 million projects that we see today is fucking mind blowing.
Well, like, they actually cared about making this movie. Like,
I don't want to belabor this point, but Mary Warnoff is still incredibly hot in this movie. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like arresting.
No, she's mega attractive. But yeah, it's a 10. TJ.
Or like Mary Jackoff, am I right? It's a 10 for me, dog. This movie is perfect. I fucking love it. It's a goddamn classic. Roger Corman, as much as he's made like a lot of just like schlocky trash to just make movies, this is not one of them. This actually feels like a genuine project that has a lot of heart and like ideas, and it's fucking great. Like, it's also, I didn't realize till this viewing, based on a book, which I can't imagine is nearly as interesting as the movie is. I had no idea it was based on a book. But you know what the worst version of this movie is? I'm sorry to keep stepping on you. Is fucking Rollerball, the James Caan movie that never ends.
Yeah.
That came out around the same time, didn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Because I used to get them too confused, believe it or not. But like before I saw them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they have similar covers. Like I want to
Similar
say
aesthetic.
that like the rollerball outfit is kind of similar ish to what Frankenstein wears. He has like a spiked glove or something.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
rollerball. At least I've done in the poster. I don't know if I've ever actually seen the movie.
Yeah, you're not missing much.
There's also the Chris. Who's the kid from?
They
who's
remade it
Striker
too.
from
Yeah,
fucking American Pie?
Yeah, LL Cool
Yeah.
J, Paul Heyman, and Chris. What the fuck is his name?
Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman, the
Yes, Paul
wrestling
Heyman.
guy.
Yeah.
He's in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
No shit. Yeah, but this movie is fucking great. It's fantastic, and I wish more movies were like this. I mean, it's just like, let's have a lot of cool ideas and just make a movie and do it well. Like, and you know, even like car racing stuff, like while it's not nearly as like dynamic or you know technically like impressive as some of the other movies that we watched, like it gets its point across and it looks good.
I mean,
You know
it
what I
looks kind of slow comparatively because of the way
Well,
it's
he does
shot.
he does a lot of ramp up stuff
Yeah,
too, but it's also cartoony.
There's
The movie
one
is cartoony.
stunt in there where I think it's Machine Gun Joe and he's like the fisherman that thinks he's Frankenstein, so he's like literally just trying to run. Where they have to drive off an embankment and you see the whole car like almost fall apart when it hits the ground. Yeah.
Dude, I love that scene because the fisherman doesn't even drop his fish as he's running for his life.
It's like the movie does it for like a very serious like dystopia, also does not take itself seriously at all. It is like you said, a car. It's like fucking wacky races.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's, you know, we've talked a lot about movies that like try to strike a very unique tone, and this is definitely one of those because it's like, it's funny, but it's also like the like world it's painting is very serious and like fucked up. Like, I don't know, it's interesting. Like just that alone is very, like, that's a sign of someone that's very competent in what they're doing and confident in what they're doing. Like they're able to pull this off. So yeah, it's a 10. I fucking love it. It's a fucking masterpiece. It's a great film. Love it to death. So yeah, love it to death. Erase 2000.
Hey,
so Sean, it is your pick.
I'm just gonna go ahead and pick Speed Racer because I've been talking about it forever. So, and I think that's on HBO Max. I was gonna pick the Jackie Chan Karate Car movie, but I'll save that for next January or whatever.
Karate Car.
I've never seen the Speed Racer movie.
Oh, you're in for a treat. It's something else. I'm excited to watch it again. It's something. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. I'll tell you that.
Visually interesting, at least.
Is Emil Hirsch is the titular Speed Racer?
And John Goodman is Pops.
I
also know nothing. I've never seen the cartoon either.
Is it Timothy Oliphant is Racer X? There's somebody.
It's your boy. It's what's his name?
Billy Crudup.
No, it's the guy that was the futuristic cowboy in Bone Tomahawk. I can't think of his fucking name.
Oh, Matthew Fox.
Is it Matthew Fox? I think it's
Matthew Fox. I just looked it up.
Yeah. I don't think he talks though, or not much. So
how have you never seen the Speed Racer cartoon?
I don't know, man.
Oh my god, I used to watch it all the time. It was always on. Like
it was on like after
Network.
Danger Mouse.
Yeah, Cartoon Network used to run it all the time.
I mean, I just figured it was about a guy racing fast, and I was like, I
mean, you're right.
That is what it is.
Yeah. Danger Mouse. Who knows what that's going to be about?
Matcha go go, matcha go go, matcha go go go. That's the Japanese
directed by the Wachowskis.
It is. Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's before those gals went off a complete cliff. TJ, what the hell was the name of that anime? Like Ken the Cowboy or whatever? Remember we watched that YouTube video about it? Like, what the fuck was that called?
Oh, it was Ken something. It was amazing. That YouTube channel is brilliant. I can't think. It was Ken something, but like, that was the one where like he like murdered he was like this little boy, but then like all the villains he like murdered relentlessly for no reason. They played it for laughs. And the animation was like 4 frames a minute. Like, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Speed Racer next week.
Yeah. A movie a bit longer than 89 minutes. I'm sorry to report. I believe it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Not even 89 minutes, 79 minutes for Death Race 2000.
Yeah, they couldn't
1
even
hour
get it to 90. They couldn't
even
get it
like
to 90 minutes.
3 minutes are violence history credits, so...
Yeah. and lots of titty. I don't think we really.
You know a movie
How
is
much
good.
titty there is in this movie?
You know a movie's good when there's that much in it, and we didn't bring it up once.
Well, you know what it
Not
is?
once.
It's because it's so ubiquitous, you don't even think about it. It's
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like you'd be like, oh, there's a lot of doors in this movie. Like, yeah, there's a lot of doors in every movie. Like,
the fact that they
movies where people show up.
dude, the
Yeah.
70s rule. What
Yeah.
when it comes to
Really.
movies?
Can understand why boomers get so defensive about the 70s. They really did have it good with movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out there.
But
all right, everybody,
All right.
that's the show. Eat your own ass. Go watch Death Race 2000. It's
do yourself a
blast.
fucking favor. Shout
Yeah.
out to
You said it's on Amazon now. It's on Prime.
Yeah. And you can watch Death Race 2050 and like have a nice fun night.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to one of our listeners, a good doctor, a dear friend of mine who confessed to us that before he listens to every episode, he watches the movie first
Oh God.
so that he can experience
He's also going through every episode of the show.
the
Really?
situation with us.
Yeah.
What an absolute unit.
Oh my God, just wait till he gets to nonstop.
yeah, right.
That could be it for him. Oh, but anyway.
He actually he bought a copy of Series 7
Series
because
7.
of us.
That
which I
movie
was
does
happy-
rule. Is this
That
your
movie
like
fucking rules.
incredibly handsome doctor friend?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
What
yeah,
a-
he's just
yeah.
which is a gem
That
of
is
a person.
that is a beautiful man. If you're
What an
listening,
absolute
Yeah.
Chad.
We're gonna bring him
1,000,000%.
on because I would love to hear his take on movies.
also, was that his wife that brought those cupcakes with the Oreos in them or whatever?
No.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
That was some other friend of yours then.
Yeah, I got a lot of bakers in the mix.
You'll have dogs in the fire.
All right, everybody. See you
All
later.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.